Hello there, welcome back to UKSM 17. It's the end of the second day. Well, almost. We've got one more run to go, and it's Undertale. Undertale Genocide. We've got... I can't remember his name. Oh no!
Drakodan.
We've got Drakodan! It's right there. How did I not, read? We've got Drakodan playing Undertale. Would you like to introduce yourself in the run, considering I seem to not be able to?
Yeah, hi. So, as I just said, this is Undertale, and I'll be playing specifically the Genocide ending, which I will explain more details on as I get into the run. Before I start the run, do anything else, I need to name our fallen human. There's been no sort of naming incentive. So, well, I'm just going to...
Okay.
I'm not going to start the game, but I'm just going to... I'm repping the event. But I am ready to go whenever everyone else is.
Perfect. Before we do start, there's a couple of things I need to get through, some admin. First of all, we are of course streaming for Médecins Sans Frontières, which is a global charity that sends doctors all around the globe. So if you can dig deep for our final run of the day, that would be absolutely fantastic. Of course, you don't have to donate, but anything helps. Not only that, but we're actually doing sort of donation incentive style thing. It's not quite a donation incentive, but I'll explain it. So, when you donate, make sure to choose either erase or save. Those are the two options, right?
Erase or do not. Yeah.
Erase or do not.
Yeah.
And when you make that choice, make sure in your donation you give a heartfelt speech as to what side you want to pick. And I will read it out to Drakodan, and he will, at the end, choose which side has moved him the most, and then he will make that choice of save or do not. Now, Drakodan, are you ready?
I am indeed ready, yes.
Alright, I will give you a countdown, and then we will begin.
Okay, sure thing.
3, 2, 1, start!
Alright, so what's up, guys? So as I said, this is Undertale's Genocide ending, and we're just going to get through the mandatory tutorial section first. Me and my trusty keyboard, which makes a lot of noise, since one of the main elements of running this game is text mashing. Text in this game is progressed with Z and X, and these keys are mirrored with Enter and Shift. And I'm playing specifically on the Linux build of the game, which the game itself is the same, but it's just a minor bug fix in which, in the old Windows build, the keys that are treated as the same, they cannot roll over. So in order to mash quickly, you actually needed incredible precision of releasing a key before you press the other one, but that doesn't exist on the Linux build, so the game will still register inputs on, say, Enter while Z is held down. So we're going to just get through the ruins first of all, led by Toriel, and she's just going to explain to us how the ruins and the puzzles generally work. We're going to come to our first battle here, but an element of this game is that not all the battles are actually mandatory. Well, a lot of them aren't. In this category, a lot of the battles are mandatory, but we don't need to take that dummy. We do, however, need to take this frogget, and I need to get this kill here. Okay, good. RNG did not screw me there. So this is a really RNG intensive category. The three main categories in the game are neutral, true pacifist, and this one, genocide. Neutral and true pacifist don't have very much RNG. They're very glitch heavy and execution heavy. This is a mechanically simpler category, but it's very RNG heavy because there is a lot of combat in the game, and there are just a lot of random elements to combat, such as damage rolls, the encounters that I get, even the step counter that contributes to when you get encounters is random. So the objective of this category is kill everything. And by everything, I mean absolutely everything. It's not enough to initiate a genocide by just going through the game and killing everything you come across. You actually need to actively hunt down everything that exists in the underground and make sure nothing survives. And each main area in the game has a kill limit. The ruins has a kill count of 20. So what I'm going to do is stay in these first two rooms until I reach 13 kills. Well, 12 kills for the first two rooms here. So there are two monsters I can get in the first two rooms, Whimsun and Frogget. That's a Whimsun, that's the good encounter that I can get because I can kill it immediately with one hit. The Frogget is the worst one as it takes 2 hits. And since I'm level 2, because I killed the first Frogget, I can kill these in 2 yellow hits, so that's slightly faster. If I'd missed the first Frogget, then I'd need to get central hits, and even then the damage roll could still make it so that it's a 3-hit kill. That's why that first Frogget was important, and you only have one turn to actually kill that first Frogget, because if you don't kill it in one shot, Toriel just comes along and scares it off, and even with a completely central hit, you can still get a low damage roll that doesn't kill it, so it is slightly random whether or not you get it. So I'm at 3 kills so far. As I say, I'm going to stay in these rooms until I get to 12. The encounter rate in this game also lowers the more kills you have in an area, so what you're going to notice is that as I kill more monsters, it's going to take longer for me to get encounters, which is just another reason why we want more favourable encounters if we can help it. Which you can't really help it. There's no way we can really control RNG in this game. You just hope to get what you can and run with it. The first half of the ruins here, this is quite good actually, so I'm at 6 right now. I say I'm staying here until 12. The limit is 20, and once I reach 12, I'm going to move to the next room, get my next encounter there, and then I'm going to carry on to what we call the triple rock room and get my last 7 kills there. The reason I'm going to do that is because the encounter rate at that point is low enough that we want to start going for double and triple encounters, which we can get in that area. But some of the encounters we can get there can also be pretty bad. This is actually pretty good RNG because I'm going to get my level up to 3 at 9 kills here, which indicates that I've gotten quite a lot of Whimsons. This is quite favourable so far. I'm going to need to make sure I get a good hit next turn. Okay, the attacks that the Froggets use is also random. It's actually dictated by the text box that the Frogget uses. I can basically tell whether I'm going to get a fly attack as they've been using or a frog attack. The frog attack is favourable since I can run into it to end the attack early, but I haven't gotten any yet. And now that I'm level 3, if I get Froggets, I can kill them even faster with just red hits. So that's 10, so I'm going to basically do one more circuit of repeating the rooms. And the reason that I'm entering and leaving the rooms repeatedly is you might imagine that I said there's a step counter. Leaving a room resets the step counter. So since, due to a combination of it diminishing and just wanting to get encounters from a low step count, it's faster to grind encounters by leaving and re-entering rooms. Oh, this is a lot of Whimsons. This is really good so far, actually. So that's 12. I'm struggling a little with my text mashing right now because this desktop is a little unfamiliar to me. It's fine though. Text mashing technique is pretty difficult to get down at all. So here's a Frogget. As I say, I'm just going to use red hits now. That's a Ribbit, that's a Frog, that's good. So that's about as fast as a Frogget encounter can be. So that's 13, and now I'm going to move on to part 2 of the ruins. As good as part 1 has been, if you're going for good times, it borderline doesn't really matter. Say if I'm racing this category, it's this room that really matters, the quality of the encounters that I get here. Because I said about how I'm going to hope to get specific double and triple encounters, I can get single encounters that can still take 2 turns to get. If I get single mole smalls, it's just absolutely terrible. That is the best first encounter that I can get, Frogget Whimsun, and that's a frog, that's really good. If I can get another one, this is an optimal encounter. If he uses Croak Croak, that's a 50% chance for a frog. That is a perfect encounter. So I've got 5 left. Ideally what I want to see is 1 more Frogget Whimsun and then a triple Mold Small encounter. That's the best that I can get. I'd prefer to get them in that order as well, since if I get them in the wrong order, such as this can still work, but because of the way the diminishing encounter rate works, what I'm going to end up with is I'm going to have 2 left after this encounter. And what that means is that even if I do get a good encounter, it's going to come slightly later because my kill count is higher. So if I'm going to get a Frogget Whimsun next, I ideally would have wanted to get it before this encounter, if that makes sense. And these always take 2 hits to kill, regardless of your level at this point. Like, your level's pretty much always going to be 3 at this point. So what I'm just going to hope for from here on out, because this has been a very good ruin so far, all I'm going to hope for now, when I have 2 left, is that I do not get the single Mold Small encounter. This is the bane of Genocide runners. Having a really good ruins up to this point, and then getting a single Mold Small here. It's a very small chance, but this game has weird ways of doing it. I think it's a 20% chance, and being that I've gotten like 4 single Mold Smalls in a row, I think that's a 1 in 625 chance, and I've had that on good runs before. Okay, triple, that's fine. So no bad encounters. So basically I'm just going to take 2 of these and I'm going to spare the last one. So, contrary to what a lot of people believe about the Genocide requirements, you can actually spare monsters here. A lot of people believe that in Genocide if you spare anything, you automatically abort the route and you can't get the Genocide ending anymore. That's not strictly true. You can't spare anything that's unique, but since Mold Smalls are not a unique encounter, I can spare them as I see fit. I'm going to do that later in the run as well with Aaron's and Jerry's in particular, which we'll see later. So overall, this is actually a pretty good start to the run. And we're going to get a verification that I'm on the Genocide route here. Yep, and absolutely just runs away. Once you're on the Genocide route, in-game events change. I also start getting these blank encounters saying but nobody came because I've killed everything in the underground. Well, in the ruins specifically. So that shows that I'm on the Genocide route, and now we get this lovely music, which I'm not sure if anyone in the room can actually hear. I hope so, because it's riveting music. Not sarcasm at all. Movement in this game is at least very simple. You're seeing that moving through these rooms is simply a case of making sure that I'm moving in the right directions at the right times. There's not much in terms of movement tech in this game to move faster. If I was going through these rooms on the neutral route, there's a chance that with a bad movement path I could get extra encounters, but all of these but nobody came encounters are actually scripted. So I'm going to get them in the same place all the time. Alright. So this is pretty much the ruins done. There's a slight bit of tricky menuing on Toriel when we enter home here, but then it's just Toriel herself, the boss fight of the ruins. And she can be a bit tricky, so we'll have to see how this goes. Yeah, my mashing is not particularly good right now. Come on, fingers, help out here. So I've got an opportunity here to get one of the most potent heals we can get in the game, the Butterscotch Pie. It heals your HP to full, regardless of what your level is. I'm going to choose not to get it, because it's simply faster to skip it. It's good to get for safety, but I'm fairly confident in my ability to finish the run without any major heals. So, Toriel, come on. Yeah, menuing's difficult. And I'm a little rusty with this, but yeah, we just use the first two options as the first option on Toriel, and then on the third text option we try to choose the second one. And then she goes into the basement. So she's going to try to stop us from leaving the ruins here, and she's basically going to say that if we want to get out, we're going to have to force our way through. And Toriel is pretty strong, so we're going to have to see how this goes. Alright, done. So, a gimmick of the Genocide route is that bosses are largely a pushover. As far as the lore of this game is concerned, monsters don't really have physical defense or like physical constitution. Monsters are magical creatures that are harmed more by killing intent. So the damage that you cause to monsters is directly proportional to how much you hate them, basically. And on the Genocide route, your character really hates the boss monsters, so you just one-shot most of them. This isn't going to be true for a couple of bosses that we'll see later on, but for the most part, boss characters are just going to die very quickly. So, can I actually get a quick time update of what I'm at right now?
10:25.
I am on potential PB pace.
Oh wow.
This is really good so far.
We've also got a donation for the next time that you...
Please do feel free now.
Okay. So we've got one from Amoeba, who is in the room. It's a £1.06 donation. He says, donation goes towards Erase. No reason for it. I don't even know what it does. But it sounds cool.
It does sound cool. And I understand why it's a 106 donation. I would prefer it to be a 105 donation, but I'll take what I can get. If it's a 104 donation, then I can basically have a god run. That'll be even better. But either way, so we're entering Snowdin now, and there's not too much to say in this initial section of Snowdin, so if any more donations come in, just feel free to keep them coming. We're just going to be meeting Sans, and there's just a lot of dialogue to skip here. There he is. I didn't mention before in the ruins as well, I suppose, that the flickering movement trick I'm doing against the walls, we call that wall humping, and that is simply executed by holding up and down simultaneously against a northern wall. All that does is that the game registers me as being currently moving whilst I'm not having to actually actively walk around, and all that means is that the step counter is progressing while I'm standing still. So it's just better for grinding encounters, since you can do it right next to a loading zone, so it makes it faster to re-enter and reload a room repeatedly, since you don't have to be in the middle of a room to get an encounter. Alright, so once I get into the next room, I'm just going to take a heal on the save point, since save points automatically heal you when you interact with them, and I'm going to get the Tough Glove out of the box here and equip it, because the Tough Glove is our next weapon and it's significantly stronger. So if we still had the stick, which is the initial weapon, these enemies will probably be 3-hit kills. With the Tough Glove, they're going to be 2 hits. Snowdrake is not an optional kill. If you don't kill Snowdrake, you abort Genocide. You can't recover the route if you don't kill Snowdrake. Same with a couple of enemies coming up, such as Doggo and Lesser Dog when they appear. So there's a 10% chance near the end of this room that I could get a random phone call which does nothing but waste time. And I don't have it. Good. And this is Ice Cap. Easy kill. So I'm currently at 2. So from Snowed In onwards, we have a weird element where some of the encounters we get do not actually contribute towards the kill count. This encounter does not count towards my overall kill count, but I still need to take the encounters. So Doggo is not going to put me up to 3 kills. And the kill count for Snowed In is 16, by the way, so I'm still currently at 2, even though I've just killed Doggo. At the end of this room, I'm going to get Lesser Dog, however, and this does count towards my kill count. And for the first turn of this fight, I'm going to use the stick that I've just unequipped, because this makes Lesser Dog really excited and not want to fight, which means he's very easy to kill. Normally he'd be a 2-hit kill, so even though the fight is the same number of turns, it's very slightly faster to just use the stick so that you don't have the same attacking animation twice in a row. And whilst the Genocide route is enabled, we can also ignore basically all the puzzles in the game. If you're doing a neutral or true pacifist run, an element of this game is puzzle solving. There are quite a few puzzles which you still basically skip, but there are some that you still have to like borderline solve. In Genocide, they're all basically disabled in one way or another, because the character just doesn't have time for puzzles. So currently at 3 kills, I'm going to... Whoa! Massive lag spike, nice. Don't know what caused that. My game is lagging extremely hard right now. So I'm going to get an encounter on this bridge, and this is going to either be a double or a triple. Okay, so this is going to put me at 5 kills. For the start of the Snowed In grind, I would rather be getting doubles, because whilst Jerry is in these battles, he causes the enemy's attacks to last 2 seconds longer. So, being that there are 2 enemy turns in this battle, it causes the fight to take 4 seconds longer than it should. And that puts my kill count to 5, and I level up before this fight. So for this fight, I'm going to have a choice of whether to... At the next save point, I might actually quit and reload the game. I might save and quit and reload the game because my game's lagging extremely hard and I've got no idea why. And this is actually going to like affect the run quite a lot. But for this fight, I'm going to kill the female dog, Doggeressa, first. Because you basically have free choice of which dog you want to kill first. Doggeressa is better because if she's dead, then Dogami's defense drops massively and I can one-shot him once I'm able to attack him. And it's RNG in this fight whether you get the dog attacks as I've been getting or the axe attack. The dog attack is slower, so of course I got it twice in a row. Alright, so we're just going to progress. So as I say, when I reach the next save point, I'm actually just going to reload the game, just to hopefully get rid of whatever issues this is causing. First of all, we've got the colour puzzle, which we have skipped. Alright. I believe I have a save point in the next room. Okay. Right, sorry about this. I'm just going to try and reload the game. It will be overall better for the game if it's not lagging randomly, because it can add up a lot of time if that's happening. Alright, we should be good. So, ice puzzle, skipped, good. There's a very tiny bit of movement there to actually make sure that you get through the ice puzzle properly. You do need to move up very slightly. And we're going to be coming up on the Greater Dog fight here. This fight is also slightly random, just how quickly we get through it. Since there's 2 different attacks you can use. One of them is similar to the frog attack that we had from the Froggets in the Ruins, where I can run into it early to end it. And Greater Dog is always going to get 2 turns to attack in this fight. So I hope to get it twice. Didn't get it. Didn't get it. Alright, whatever. So that's poor, but again, I don't have control over that. That saves a few seconds every time you manage to skip that. So I'd prefer to be able to take that time save in Pocket Change, but it doesn't matter too much. It's not major. There are much worse time losses that can happen in the run. So we just need to get through the Gauntlet of Deadly Terror, which is just text mashing again. And then once we get into Snowdin, I'm going to not forget to take the Snowdin portal again once I finish my grind, because at ESA I completely forgot to take the Snowdin portal and I lost a bunch of time for no reason. Alright, so I need to do my grind. 51, that's close. So I'm currently at 5 and the kill limit is 16, so I've got 11 left. So after this encounter I'm going to be at 9 left. And I'm ideally never going to kill Jerry, because Jerry has a lot of defense and he takes absolutely forever to kill. You're going to see just how long he takes if the kill count positions itself in such a way that I've got no choice but to take him. Because I mentioned that the worst case scenario is that I'm at any point left with 1 left in the kill count. Because of the way the encounter rate diminishes exponentially, if you have 1 left, that encounter takes forever to get. Okay, so this is 8 left. And I'm just going to stay near the loading zone every time so that I can exit and re-enter quickly every fight. I'd say until I've got maybe 6 left, I want to get ice caps and Jerrys if possible, like this. And then once I'm at 6 left, it would be ideal for me to start getting triples so that I can take ice cap and Shielddrake each fight and just have 3 fights of that. But it's hard to predict, and the runner basically has to make a judgment call on what may be the best way to do it. So this is going to be 6 left. So from here, I would prefer to start getting triples. If I start getting doubles, I'm again going to just take the ice caps, and basically if I'm at 2 left and I get an ice cap and a Jerry, I'm going to kill the Jerry, because it'll just be faster to do so. Alright, 5 left. So this puts me in an awkward position. If I get a triple now, I don't know whether or not I should kill all the monsters to leave me with 2 left, so that I'm guaranteed to only have 2 more encounters in this grind. I'm not entirely sure how I should play this right now. I'll just decide once I'm in the fight, because I might not even get a triple. Alright, got 1. Because the thing that I'm faced with now is, if I take only 2, then I'll have 3 left, and then if I get a triple, I'll definitely take that and end the grind. But if I kill only 2 now and leave myself with 3 left, I could get another Ice Cap Jerry, and I could need to get an extra encounter. So, someone decide for me. What do I do? Too late. Alright, we're going to go for the triple encounter again. This is just 50-50, whether I get a triple or not. I'm blaming you if I get a double.
Granted. A sheer moment of bamboozlement overtook me.
I can also vaguely, if I lose count of the enemies that I've killed, I can vaguely tell where I am based on... Yay, there we go. Alright, thanks.
My bamboozlement was not for naught.
Yeah, so I can vaguely tell where I am in the grind by audio cue. Since the encounter rate diminishes, I can estimate how many kills I've gotten just by listening to the music when I get an encounter, because it always follows the same sort of patterns. So I'm going to kill this Jerry. You're about to see just how long Jerry takes to kill. Look at that damage. This is faster than looking for another encounter though, since I've currently got 1 left. Like, getting an encounter with 1 left takes about a minute. So yeah, I'd rather not do that. Thankfully Jerry doesn't attack, so once he's on his own, killing him is pretty quick compared to if you killed him with other monsters on the screen. Alright, and we're going to get a confirmation that Genocide's enabled? Yeah. Thank you. That was a very difficult fight. And okay, I need to remember not to avoid the portal here. Can I get the glitch?
No, even Toby Fox says he hates Jerry.
Yeah. I think Toby Fox probably had someone he knows in real life in mind when he designed that character. It's very clearly a call out towards someone. We just don't know who. But he really doesn't like someone and wanted the world to know that there's a guy that he doesn't like. Because if you read like Jerry's flavor text all the time, Jerry just does a lot of socially oblivious and obnoxious things. Such as blowing his nose loudly and coughing without covering his mouth and stuff like that. Oh yeah, this is Papyrus, and he's dead. So that's Snowdin finished, and we're going to move on to Waterfall. So the kill limit for Waterfall is 18. Waterfall is also, thankfully, probably the least volatile area in the game for pure RNG. Most of the kills for the grind I'm going to get just naturally as I go through the area, so there's less random encounters that I need, and there's, I would say, fewer random encounters that are just completely awful. So I like Waterfall quite a lot. And it's got an actual boss fight at the end of it, I promise. This route has 2 proper boss fights, and Waterfall has one of them. Until then, though, there's not too much going on, so again, if there are any donations or any messages you'd like to plug, now is a great time to do so.
So just a quick reminder to everyone watching on stream, this is for Médecins Sans Frontières, and we're trying to raise as much money for them as possible. To do that, we are running a style of donation incentive. You have to, when you donate, choose erase or do not. When you do that, put in your hardest argument for either side, and I'll read it out to Drakodan. Whichever one he decides is the best is the choice that will be taken.
The only argument I've heard so far is that erase sounds cool. Depending how I feel about the respective routes, you may have to do better than that. I'm not going to confirm or deny. I might prefer do not erase, you don't know that.
Erase is cooler, in my opinion.
Debatably. So, a very small, like, meta detail / Easter egg that makes no difference to the run, but is still cool. When we walked through the water before, the character just walked straight over the water. That only happens if Genocide mode is enabled. If Genocide is not enabled, the character is waist deep in the water. So the character doesn't even have time to sink into the water in Genocide. And we're running away from the first 2 random encounters we get, which are Aaron and Washua. The reason I'm running away from these encounters is they're not unique, so they're not going to abort Genocide if I run away from them. And I'm currently not strong enough to one-shot these enemies. I still have the Tough Glove equipped, which isn't strong enough to take care of them in one hit. In a few rooms' time, I'm going to get the next weapon, which is the Ballet Shoes, and that will kill Washua's in one hit. I still can't kill Aaron's in one hit, and if I get Aaron's, I'm going to run away from them wherever possible, largely. So this is Undyne, and she really wants to kill us, and we can manipulate the positioning of these spears very slightly, and the character's hitbox is very weirdly positioned. There's going to be a couple of spots, such as maybe that. That spear looked like it came really close to my head. It could have even potentially gone through my head, and it wouldn't have done anything, because the hitbox of the character is disjointed a little. It's slightly lower than what the character model looks like, so what you'll commonly see is that a spear will go through your head and not touch you, and it will pass by the bottom of your feet and it will hit you. So what I try to do, if possible, is misdirect them higher up. I think it's slightly easier to get through that section like that. Other runners disagree, but that's what I personally think. Either way. So, in the next room is where we would normally get the punch card if this was a neutral or true pacifist run, which is the backbone of breaking and glitching this game nowadays. And those runs are honestly really impressive to watch. Like, if you enjoyed this run, I really urge you to look at runs of the other categories, since they are objectively more technical and glitch heavy. So the punch card would normally be in the northern room from here, but if Genocide mode is enabled, the ice cream salesman just isn't there, so we can't buy an ice cream and then get a punch card from the box. So instead we're just going to carry on. And the Ballet Shoes is to the left right now. I'm going to make sure that I get my first encounter before I enter the next room, which is always going to be a double mold small. Okay. Oops. So then the Ballet Shoes are just in this patch of grass, and I'm just going to immediately equip them. Yep, there we go. Alright, so now I'm generally stronger. The Ballet Shoes are a lot more difficult to aim than the Tough Glove. You're going to hopefully see in this first encounter, as long as this next encounter isn't a single Aaron, I'm going to take it and you're going to see exactly what the Ballet Shoes do. If it's a single Aaron, I'm just going to run.
We do have another donation for whenever you're ready.
Go for it.
It's from UFO313. He donated £5. Shout outs to all my boys, with a Z, in Germany. Love you all. Also, good luck on the run. First time I see Undertale, so I'm hyped on the end.
Thank you very much. So, you just got a view of what the Ballet Shoes does there. It's 3 cursors that advance towards the center, and you just need to hit them as close to the center as possible. It really matters to get central hits with the Ballet Shoes, since we'll demonstrate on Shiren here. So if I get dead central hits, they glow gold, and if I get enough of them, I get a critical hit, which does extra damage. And if I get all 3 hits in the center, that does a lot more damage. And with the ball issues, it's a 2-frame window to land the cursor in the center. So in other words, it's a triple 2-frame window hit to get a perfect hit on enemies. So as far as kill count is concerned, I got the Woshua and the Aaron, and I spared the Aaron. So after Sharon, I've got 4 kills. So waterfall limit being 18, I have 14 left. I'm going to get 2 more scripted encounters before anything approaching random happens. Even the first couple of quote-unquote random encounters are still scripted. I just consider it that once we get past Temmie, we start getting into the random encounter territory, even though, like I say, the first couple of encounters aren't actually random. If you hold up and down whilst progressing through the screen, you actually walk at double speed, which is very nice. You can just leave Monster Kid in the dust. I hate Monster Kid, so I love this category. Alright, we're going to have the second chase sequence with Undyne here. So, like the first sequence, we are able to manipulate the position of the spears that are chasing us, but it's a lot more pronounced in this section. Like, we are flat out manipulating where the spears are going to appear here. Basically, the spears will always spawn in front of the direction that you're facing. The game's basically reading your directional inputs, and it will always spawn the spears in front of the directions you're holding. So currently I'm holding down and right, so it's going to try and spawn the spears in front of me, but most of them are going to be off the platform. Like you can see there that they're below me, and again. And I'm basically going to just be misdirecting every spear volley so that it's largely out of my way. That one is one of the only ones you can't manipulate easily, and I'm lucky that it gave me a good pattern. Okay, that's the last risky section. As long as you don't get hit by any freak volleys, this is a very consistent section since the movement is quite simple. Okay, so our next enemy is going to be Mad Dummy, which is going to bring us up to 5 kills. Well, in this category it's Glad Dummy because he doesn't stay mad for very long, but we'll see when that happens. Not too much going on in this section, so just again, any donations that come in, anything to say, perfect time to just chip in with anything. Or if anyone else has any insightful comments. Hopefully comments that incite violence. Yes, UKSM is a nice name. Okay, can I get the important glitch here? I did! Oh wow, I didn't expect to get that. I've got Jesus Frisk, I'm walking on the water. I think that's pixel perfect, and it does absolutely nothing, so that's nice. It just looks funny. Thank you. If there's one trick that I'm glad to have gotten in this run, it's that one. The one that doesn't make the run go faster. Alright, so here's Mad Dummy. And he gets so angry with us that he finally achieves a physical form and becomes very happy, so now we're just going to kill him. Cheers, man. So that's kill number 5. For both Glad Dummy and Temmie coming up here, I'm not actually killing them as quickly as possible because they both have 5 HP, and if my mashing is extremely fast, I can actually do 4 damage and fail to kill them in one hit. So I'm waiting at least a couple of frames before I actually start attacking them. So that's 6 kills. The next couple of encounters are going to be scripted. I'm going to get 2 mole smalls, or a mole small and a mole big. That's not a good hit. I need a better hit for this one. That's good enough, yep. So that's 8. And next is going to be Woshua Aaron. I'm going to spare the Aaron, because Aaron takes 2 turns. I don't like that. Even with the ballet shoes and the perfect hit, I still can't one-shot him. So that's going to be 9. My kill count is 18, so I'm going to be sticking around in these 2 rooms here until I reach 14. So I'm currently at 9, and I'm just going to hope to get basically enemy combos that don't have Aaron in them. That's a good start. So this is going to put me to 11. I can also get single Temmies, which they are very fast to kill, but they are single encounters, so they're very situational about whether they're faster. That was a dreadful hit. I really don't want to take multiple turns to kill enemies, if possible. Okay, so that's 11. Got a level up though, so I'll do slightly more damage, so that removes some damage ranges. So just a couple more doubles is what's ideal. There's the Temmie. Screw off. Alright, 12. As long as I don't get another one, that's fine though, because I'd still ideally get a double here and be at 14 and then progress. So as long as I don't get any more single Temmies, that's fine. Okay, that's another good encounter. Perfect hit, nice. Doesn't particularly matter, but it's always nice to see perfects, since for the boss fight coming up, I really do need perfects. Let's keep this going, Jesus. Alright, so that's 14. And now I've got 2 more rooms left, so I'm hopefully just going to get doubles in both of the remaining rooms. So this is where a single Temmie can really screw me over. It also means that if I see an Aaron now, I'm just going to take it. Yeah, I'm just going to take this Aaron. Because if I spared him, I'd have 3 left, so I'd need to get 2 encounters. So even though he's going to take 2 turns, it's still better to just take him. Like, even if I got a perfect there, I still don't do enough damage to kill the Aaron. A weak hit now will finish him, though. So, 2 left. Don't give me a single Temmie. Don't do it. It's like a 30% chance. Don't do it. And even though the lights are dimming and you can brighten the room, I still know how to get through this room in total darkness, so... It doesn't even cost time to take the lights, but I just prefer to do this room in the dark for some reason. Alright, the RNG has actually been really friendly in this run so far, so don't do it. Okay, it's another Aaron though, so that's... Even though I'm going to take it, that's the worst good pattern that I could have gotten, if that makes sense. I would have preferred to get Washuas and Mold Bigs and then just kill them in one. Oh, come on. I need less of these near misses for Undyne coming up. Either way though, fairly clean. I didn't have to like stick around for any extra encounters. Like the single Temmie when I got it, it didn't really matter. So I've just reached the kill limit for Waterfall. This is also the only point in the game where the game will actually notify you if you haven't reached the Genocide limit, the kill count. Because once you head up to Undyne the Undying on the north here, the game will tell you that you basically haven't finished killing everything and it warns you to go back. That's the only point in the game where it intervenes to try and keep you on the Genocide route. Because basically, if at any point you encounter an area's boss monster before you fulfill the Genocide limit, you abort the Genocide route. So you need to be very sure that you've actually done the kill count before you execute the boss fight. And yes, once I've aborted the Genocide route, I cannot get it back. So if at any point I did something to accidentally abort Genocide, the run would be over. I can't recover the run. But it's very easy to not accidentally lose Genocide. I'm just going to take a safety heal on the save point. I don't need it. I'm not going to take a save because, come on, I'm not that bad. But ideally, I'm not even going to get damaged on Undyne, but accidents can always happen. This is one of the aforementioned proper boss fights of the game. Undyne and Sans are famous for being the 2 really hard fights in this category, and a lot of people struggle with Undyne a lot when they first play this category. So we kill Monster Kid really quickly, or, well, try to, but can't have everything. And now we're going to have Undyne the Undying. So, a lot of the attacks in this fight are scripted, so I'm going to know what to expect is coming. The difficulty in this fight is not beating the fight, it's doing it quickly. What I'm going for is the quick kill, in which I need to have a consistently high damage output. I need to finish the fight in 14 turns, and Undyne has 23,000 HP. I need to do an average of 1,652 damage per turn. So, you can see how accurate that hit was. I only made a slight mistake, and I'm below the hit average. This is why I need to get perfects in this fight if I want to get the quick kill. Come on. If I get perfects, then I'm going to be doing just over 1,700 per turn. That's not good. So I can still potentially get the quick kill, but I really need to start upping my hit quality. And if I don't get the quick kill, like, it's nothing major, it just loses 15 seconds to miss the quick kill. Alright. So if I get a few more of those, I should be golden. Since none of my hits have been dreadful so far, none of my hits have been below 1,500. That's not a good hit though. Ugh. Alright, I'm probably just going to forget about trying to get quick kill now and just go for the standard no hit. Terrible. I'm really bad at aiming weapons in this game. It's ironic that I'm probably worse at aiming the ballet shoes than the next weapon, the empty gun, because the ballet shoes is objectively easier to aim. The frame window is higher. For the next weapon, the empty gun, it's a 1 frame window for a perfect hit, and I'm generally better at getting perfect hits with it. For that rotating spears attack, a lot of people hate it and struggle with it. Everyone has their own method to dodge it. I personally think this is the best method to dodge it because it's generally very consistent. And I took a hit because I'm bad. That attack's not going to happen again though. Oh my god, come on. I'm going to need 2 good hits here to make sure that I'm not actually +2. And that would be really bad since not only is the attack after quick kill fail very long, it's also legitimately difficult. So I need to not whiff this hit. So this is the attack that I would hope to skip from getting quick kill. And I need a good hit here. Alright, that's fine. If I'd gotten a worse hit than that, I probably would have been an extra turn. So that's basically the fight that I end up getting pretty much every Genocide run. I'm really bad at getting the quick kill. I've gotten it twice in runs, I think, and comparative to what my PB is in Genocide, I should be better at getting quick kill than I am, but I just really struggle with the ballet shoes for some reason. So that's basically the fight that I end up getting 95% of the time. If you like, yeah. Being sub 40 after Undyne is pretty good, yeah. I would probably rule out PB at this point, but this is still a very promising run. The one thing that I absolutely need to not forget to do right now is pick up the instant noodles in the lab. Because I mentioned that the other hard fight in the game is Sans. Even the best players tend to struggle with Sans, like doing it consistently, because it's the type of fight where one major mistake can put you into real trouble. And you don't always have full control over whether mistakes are gonna happen. And the instant noodles will, similarly to the pie, function as a basically full heal. So since the noodles takes about 2 seconds to pick up, it's really stupid to not take them in a marathon run, since it's just overwhelmingly safer to take them. And there is a point halfway through the Sans fight where he won't attack you and gives you a free opportunity to heal, basically. So yeah, that's all it takes to get the noodles. And that gives me a free full heal in the fight, if I need it. So I'm going to take the safety noodles, and I'm going to take a safety save before Sans, obviously. So we should be golden. Like, I'm pretty consistent at getting healless Sans, but it's just silly to take additional risk. I'm not going to talk about the burnt pan too much because I'm not getting the burnt pan. Yeah. So what I also passed up the opportunity to do there is the only glitch that's actually used in Genocide, which is early burnt pan, which it's a little hard to describe. In essence, you can gain control of the character during a cutscene, and you can interact with the fridge that has the instant noodles multiple times. I actually need to get Sunderplane here. This is a hard hit. Of course I get a perfect there when I don't need it. Alright. So with the early burnt pan glitch, you can basically get extra items from the same like item class / item pool. It's a weird way the game categorizes items, and for some reason the burnt pan is in the same item class as the instant noodles. So by using the glitch, you can basically pick up the noodles and the pan at the same time. The pan is my next optional weapon. You can use either the burnt pan or the empty gun. I prefer the empty gun. Most runners choose to go for the burnt pan so that they get the noodles and the pan at the same time. Otherwise, you'd need to go to a different room to get the pan, and it's in the region of, I'd say, about 15 seconds slower to go get it. But since I don't use the pan personally, I don't bother with attempting the glitch, because the glitch itself is not really trivial to hit. You need to be in a very specific spot and interact with the dog food bag on the northern wall in a very specific way, and then you need to control the character whilst in a cutscene where you can't really see what you're doing. It's actually pretty unfriendly. So one of the perks of the Genocide route, as I mentioned, puzzles are disabled. This includes basically all of Hotlands, which is basically one huge puzzle. The entirety of Hotlands is just like puzzles everywhere. But if Genocide mode is enabled, we're able to go straight to left floor 3, which is almost at the end of Hotlands already. So, got one mini boss coming up, Muffet. And we get to use a very, very, very slight movement optimization here. Alright, watch this boost I'm about to get. Look at that. Probably saves a few frames, I haven't measured it.
I wonder if it's near 0.1 seconds.
Maybe. It's possible. That would be 3 frames, so that sounds about right. Alright, I'm glad to not get a perfect on Muffet because again I don't need it. There is absolutely nothing in this post-kill cutscene, so again, anything to cut in with, now's a good time.
Just a reminder, we are indeed trying to raise money for Médecins Sans Frontières. They are a global charity, and of course, if you do donate, make sure to choose either delete or do not. And when you do that, make sure to put a message saying why you want to delete or not. And I will read it to Drakodan, and he will make his choice on what the best decision was.
Fair enough. So, this is where I'm going to get my final weapon, the empty gun. I'm also going to pick up the cowboy hat at the same time. It is armor, but it increases my attack power. So it just removes some damage ranges in fights if I get bad hits. So I've got my final loadout for the game. Well, I say final. I'm going to re-equip the ballet shoes at some point, but this is the quote-unquote best equipment I'm going to get in the run. And we are now faced with the core grind. So this is really, really random, and I need a lot of accurate hits here. So I take a quick heal on the save point. The first few encounters here are scripted, and you might have seen on the save point I have 35 kills to get here. And this is what the empty gun looks like. And yes, I somehow consider myself more consistent at getting perfects with this than the ballet shoes, which is slower and has a wider timing window. Don't ask me, I don't know. I mean, I just got a goal there, so... Yeah, the pan is also frame perfect. The pan also has 4 cursors, but it's slower. So that's basically why I consider it to be preference between runners, which you prefer, because I just generally react to the faster cursor speed better. So I just prefer to use the gun over the pan. So that's 3. So this next encounter is going to bring me to 5. Told you I'm not bad at this. I still need to get perfects though. For these enemies that I'm getting here, just getting gold hits, which is at least a double, is fine. But on the encounter after my next one, I'm going to get a scripted Night Knight and Magic. Those enemies are really strong and I need quadruple hits to one-shot them. And after the first scripted encounter with them, I can get them randomly. What I really, really don't want to see in this grind is single Night Knight or Magics, because, like I say, unless I get perfects, they're going to take 2 turns and they are single enemies, so they cause extra encounters. So this is going to be Night Knight Magic here. I need perfect hits to one-shot these. Ugh. Right, that's actually a really bad hit, so I'm going to need like at least a good hit to make Night Knight even a 2-hit kill now. Jesus, I'm doing badly. That's fine. So same deal for Magic. I will, if I get a triple, I'll become close to killing him, but I still won't kill him in one. Alright. So from this point out, the encounters become completely random. I almost got a quadruple on that second hit, and I didn't need it. So this is 9 kills. I'm going to stay in this room until I reach 26. And like I say, the encounters are completely random here. I can get anything. And I can even get triples, which is really nice. Like that. So this is going to put me at 12. I haven't gotten any quads yet, that's actually a little worrying. Since ideally I'm not going to get any random Night Knight or Magics, but I'm going to get one more scripted encounter with them, which I can't avoid. And I would really like to quad that one. So that's 12. I also don't start resetting this room until I'm at 15, because for some reason the encounter rate just stays extremely high. There's a perfect. So you can see that does a lot more damage, and that is the damage that you need to one-shot a Night Knight or a Magic. So 14. So after this next encounter, regardless of what it is, I'm going to start resetting the room. Right, so this is going to put me at 16, and I'm going to start resetting the room every time I get an encounter. Fine. So all I want now is to not see Night Knights and Magics. I can either get them as both, or I can get them singularly each. Okay. So this will be 18. Keeping mental count of how many kills you have is a bit of a roadblock for learning to run this category. What a lot of runners actually choose to do is have a counter on live split so that they can actually increment it and keep track of their kills on screen, because some people really struggle with actually keeping track in their head of how many kills they have, especially if they're commentating or in a race call at the same time. Like, it's very easy to lose track of where you are. And because this music track currently playing never stops, you can't use an audio cue to know where you are in the kill like I did in the Snowden grind. So that's going to be 18, I believe. No, that's 20. I'm fairly sure that's 20. That's what I mean. I've kind of, because I'm commentating, I'm not paying full attention. And so now I have to worry a little bit about making sure that I don't end up with the wrong kill limit, because the way we end the core grind is by going north to the warrior path. And there are 3 scripted encounters there we can get for 7 kills, so we don't have to worry about the encounter rate being really low at that point. So basically, if I've miscounted and I'm ahead, then I'm going to do that, and I'm still going to have 2 left, so I'm going to need to get an extra encounter, and it'll take a long time. I think I'm at 22 right now. I can still kind of tell where I am based on how long it takes to get an encounter, but it's not an exact 24. Whoa, I activated the menu as I transitioned rooms, nice. So this is going to be my last encounter in this room, and I'm going to move to the adjoining room after and hope to get a double for 28, because this should put me to 26 if it's another double. Like, this encounter has taken longer to get, so I think I'm still on pace. Rub it, rub it. Alright, so that should be 26. So now I'm going to go to this adjoining room and just get an encounter here. Hopefully this is not a single. This is the last opportunity in the run to get bad RNG. Go on, do it. Single Night Knight. Ruin the run. Yes!
Oh, it did.
That yes was extremely sarcastic. It's because now I need another encounter. Hey, at least this does mean, though, that if I did miscount and I now get a triple, then I'm at least not going to be at the wrong kill count.
You know, that's
So,
what you get for encouraging people to get killed.
I mean, I've had good RNG the entire run, so I have to do something bad, right?
Yeah.
Are people enjoying the run? Oh, encounter. It's a double.
You know, if you would have gotten that encounter before.
Yeah. I'm going to take both of these. A weird quirk that I haven't really mentioned yet is that earlier in the run, I was running away from encounters. Assuming that I'd reach 28 after that Whimsalot, it would be faster to run away from the Astigmatism, but since I unequipped the bandage, I actually can't guarantee an escape. Whilst you have the bandage equipped, which is your starting armor, you have a 100% flee rate. Once you unequip it, you don't have 100% flee rate anymore. So I could try and escape and I could just waste a turn, so there's no reason for me to not take the kill there, basically, so that I, again, don't get bad RNG, and it, again, makes sure I've got my kill count. The game legitimately lagged there. I'm blaming lag for that one. Because that one felt good otherwise. Watch this, I'm going to quad this. You heard nothing. It was still good enough. It was a triple. And I missed the other hit by like 3 frames, if that, I want to say. That was like a 2-frame miss. Like, you can see there, that sucks. Come on. Just give me it. Like, 190 HP for a magic and you can't even give me that. This game sucks. So this last encounter is just a standard triple. This is just going to be 3 turns to do this. And after this encounter, I'm going to re-equip the ballet shoes. Because after this point, there are no more real fights in the game. I still have to attack stuff, but the combat doesn't actually matter. And the attack animation on the ballet shoes is actually slightly faster than the empty guns animation. So, since I have to attack Sans a lot of times, the fact that the ballet shoes is like a couple of frames faster per turn, it does actually stack up to at least a couple of seconds time save. Like, I think it's actually about 10 seconds faster to equip the ballet shoes for Sans. And we equip it here rather than before the next boss, quote-unquote boss, Metaton Neo. And there you go, I'm on Genocide, good. So I equip it now instead of after Metaton Neo because, again, Metaton is going to die in one hit regardless of what I use. So it's just faster to have the Ballet Shoes equipped at this point. And by faster I mean 2 frames, if that. Alright. I'm not even going to pretend that this is a hard fight because I've already said that he's going to die immediately. But the damage value that it reads out, again, if you haven't got the but nobody came message, does tell you whether or not you're on Genocide. If that's like a 5-digit number instead of a 6-digit number, then you get a different dialogue choice here and you haven't completed the Genocide route. But from this point onwards, after killing Metaton Neo, I am locked into the Genocide route. I cannot abort the Genocide route at this point. So we are going to get the Genocide ending. The only detail now is that I need to successfully kill Sans, which is, I mean, I personally consider it to be free, but I don't want to jinx myself, and, you know, accidents can happen. It's not a trivial fight, honestly. If you haven't seen the fight before, then you probably haven't watched enough YouTube videos, but, you know, if you haven't seen the fight before, it's quite wild. Like, if you thought the attack patterns in the fight thus far, some of them were like, oh, this actually looks pretty tricky, then everything in the game is easy compared to Sans. Undyne, debatably, some people struggle with some of Undyne's attacks. I got hit once accidentally. It's very unlikely that I'm going to beat Sans without taking damage. If I reach the second phase of the fight without taking damage, I'm going to go for a no-hit fight, which is slower, but it will look very, very impressive. Because one of the gimmicks of Sans is that in the second half of the fight, he actually starts attacking you during the menus, and unless your mashing is extremely quick, you actually can't... I'm taking the wrong route here for Genocide as well. I should be going the other way if I'm on Genocide. Yeah, he starts attacking you during the menus, and unless your mashing is extremely quick, you can't avoid all the damage just by mashing it. You actually need to avoid damage during the menus. This is also the only part of the run where, instead of my piano mashing method, which is like rolling my hands across the relevant keys, I'm just using random mashing. Which is, I'm just mashing the relevant keys randomly because, come on, I interacted with the note and not the key. Because the way that the game pulls inputs during the flowy cutscenes is actually different. And normally, the best text mashing you can get in the game is 15 text boxes per second. The game is like 30 FPS, and ideally you would want to progress text box, next text box, progress text box, next text box in each alternating frame. For some reason, on the flowy cutscene, you can get up to 30 text boxes a second mashing. Like, humans aren't going to do that, but you can potentially benefit from just mashing the keys randomly. In a way that you don't benefit anywhere else in the game. So, as I say, coming up to Sans here, there is going to be a safety save and a safety heal. Just a little bit of preliminary information on the fight, I suppose, before I get there. I mentioned about the fight having 2 phases. The first phase is basically entirely scripted, and the second phase is very random and basically tests the player's reaction times more than anything else. So I'm going to know what to expect in the first phase, and then I'm just going to hope to not massively choke anywhere, especially not choke in the second phase, because I could react badly to something or misread a visual cue, because you really don't have much time to react to Sans' attacks in the second phase. So once the fight starts, I'm basically going to be quiet and start concentrating. So if there are any last minute donations or comments, now is a good time to get them in before we begin. No? Alright. By the way, I haven't practiced this fight. Last time I played this fight was at ESA, which was a few weeks ago. Sans is the easiest enemy though. He's only got 1 HP, only deals 1 damage, he's got 1 defense, he can't be that hard. Like, this fight is nothing, right? Well, that's a good start. So the fastest way to go fast on Sans is just to go fast, for lack of a better word. That's a bad start. Yeah, alright, I'm not going for no hit anymore, I'm just going to go fast. This fight basically exists to punish anyone who's managed a genocide up to this point. Like, people who are expecting a fun final boss, this boss is basically here to say, you've done something awful, you don't get to have fun. But Toby failed in that because I still personally find this boss fight very fun. Alright, it will honestly be very silly of me to not take the free heal in the midpoint of the fight, so I'm just going to do that. There's one more turn until the midpoint. Jesus, yeah, I'm definitely taking it now. So this is why we get the noodles. So now the attacks are entirely random and I have very little time to react to what's going on. And this is where he starts attacking me during the menus as well, so at this point I just need to go fast. The safest way to get through the menus is just to move as quickly as possible, to know when each attack ends and then just progress the menu as quick as I can. These attacks here, however, if you're on a keyboard with anti-ghosting, you have a much easier time with them. These attacks speed up to the point where they are almost impossible to dodge conventionally, but if you have an anti-ghosting keyboard, you can hold all 4 direction keys and you'll dodge them for free because you'll jump automatically at the start of each attack cycle. Oof. That's awkward. I don't know how I dodged that, but I'll take it. I clearly contacted it. Five, 6. Oh, whoops. Miscounted. Alright. So after this move, it's the final attack. Alright, this is the big one. That's fine. Runners honestly have a slightly easier time against Sans than it would appear. It looked like I took a fatal hit there, but because I had remaining HP, something that you'll have noticed in the fight is that as you're taking damage, you build up poison damage, which is called karma in this game. And your HP slowly drains, like the purple remaining part of your health bar slowly drains. You won't actually die until that's fully drained away. So if you take one massive hit, it actually gives you a little bit of buffer room before you'll die. So as long as you don't sit inside an attack and speed up the karma damage, taking one big hit like that is not actually a problem. But that gives a perspective on just how much a single major mistake on Sans can cost. Like, any of the attacks early in the fight where you can basically fall into the big sea of bones, if you don't react to that and sit in there for more than like a second, you can lose over half your health very quickly. So the difficulty of this fight is like not without reason. And having a 1 HP finish like this is not particularly good, especially since I already healed once in the fight, but again, rust. And it's not the sort of fight where I could have practiced a lot beforehand to go faster in the fight. It's just a matter of not dying to the fight, basically. Because of the nature of how the fight goes, you can't really speed it up so much. The one mistake that I can make at this point in the fight now is hitting the side of the border before it's time for me to do so. because Sans is not letting me finish him off. He's not letting me take a turn. He's just going to take his turn forever, and we need to wait for him to fall asleep before we can do anything. But hitting the side of the border will keep him awake, so I literally just need to sit around for a bit. So, yeah. Anyone got anything to say?
That was intense.
It was alright. I didn't do as well as I hoped to in that fight, but I still finished it, so, you know, it's fine.
I mean, finishing at 1 health has style points.
Kind of, yeah. Finishing it at whatever the max health value is after he bangs me around from taking a no-hit would have been even more stylish, but I've only done that like once or twice. And I kind of needed to grind for it. I've never done it in a run. I've never gotten a no-hit in a run, but I have gotten a no-hit by grinding for it. There we go, I can move now. So once he falls asleep, we're able to start moving, and we can physically drag the combat box over until I can get to the fight menu. The music I can hear really doesn't fit right now.
It kind of does in a dark and twisted way.
It cut off at the right point as well.
The music was perfect.
So this is basically the end of the run. It's not time yet, but there is basically nothing more to the run until it's actually time to call time. Like, there's no more combat, there's no more much of anything. It's just playing out the Genocide ending. So if anyone wants to try and persuade me to go either way, you have about 2 minutes to do so. If you want to donate to try and persuade me to take a certain choice, you should do it now.
And remember, you can get to that donations by going to uksmlive.com/donate.
So this is Asgore, the King of Monsters, who would be the final boss, but Sans was the final boss of Genocide. Because Asgore just wants us to calm down and have a cup of tea with him. Also, notice that the Mercy button is gone. Mercy is not an option at this point. Whoops. That's even more damage. Alright, the music definitely doesn't fit now. No. Literally all I can do at this point is advanced text, unfortunately. And erase is the default option, so if that's what I'm going with, then I am not going to do any directional input, so I'm UKSM.
The only donation we got after we do anything was erase, because it sounded cool.
Okay.
So, in the efforts of cool, I suppose we might as well.
I mean, I don't really think that's a good argument, but maybe. Should I?
I mean, you've got to recover star points for the 1 health.
That's true.
That's my argument.
I see. I mean, we've still got a little bit of time, so if someone wants to snipe it...
You're gonna call time, yeah?
Yes, I am going to call time. Which is coming up shortly. Unfortunately, I like the other option, and that wasn't a very good argument. I'm a contrarian, and so I am going to have to say time. Do not. Thank you very much.
Would you like to know your time?
Yes, please.
It was 1 hour, 8 minutes and 6 seconds.
A 108 is definitely not bad for a marathon. A low 108 is definitely not bad.
So you're happy with that?
I'm fairly happy with that, yeah.
Good.
Is that better than yours?
Yes, it was, yeah. I hope this shows up on the screen because this actually resets the scene that's being captured. Cool. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. We have pure horror. It is beautiful in a way.
That's a lot of damage. And then the game just closes itself. That is literally the Genocide ending. I lose. Everyone loses. But I hope everyone enjoyed that run.
Well, we certainly did. Did everyone in the audience enjoy the run?
No.
Everyone in the audience nodded. They're very tired. Now remember, tomorrow we have got one more day of UKSM. We're just getting the schedule up for you now so I can read to you what's going to be going down. On Sunday we're going to be starting at 11 AM BST with Shantae's Risky Revenge with TKY619. He's in the audience, he's looking astoundingly nervous. We're following that up with Drakodan again. It's Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Are you looking forward to your Sonic Adventure run?
Oh yes, definitely.
Oh yeah, he is. Then we've got Kotura at 12:40 with Digimon World, followed by Amoeba at 2:25 with Super Monkey Ball 2. Then Ozu2 with Lego Lord of the Rings at 3:05, followed by our finisher, Count Creep, 6 PM, The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. Remember, you can check out the schedule yourself at uksmlive.com/schedule. But for now, we're going to be leaving you. We hope you've enjoyed the stream. Please tune in tomorrow.